Back again, it's your boy Jimothy Sosa here for Hump Day Thoughts con Cafe with Juan Sobernice. You already know where we at, Buen Vecino Cafe, but maybe since I'm going home next week, we'll be at a new cafe. Who knows? Who knows? I don't make the rules, I just follow them sometimes. Anyway, how y'all doing today? Wagwan, Sapase, que la que hay, konnichiwa when I'm out in Japan. Todo bien contigo, con ellos, con ustedes. Me gusta. Alright, so we're on challenge mode today. We're gonna try to do this in one take. See if they call me one take, like one take Drake, one take Hov. You know, I'm gonna try to do the whole thing. Let's see if I got better. I don't even need to pause no more. Alright, mi gente, mi compadre. So as always, quick little update. What's new in PR? Tomorrow, Friday, the 19th of November is Discovery Day of Puerto Rico, which is a federal holiday or a holiday for us here. What is Discovery Day, you may ask? You might be asking yourself, right? Well, it's all in the name, self-explanatory. So on November 19th, 1493, Christopher Columbus, Cristobal Colombo, discovered Puerto Rico. And when he discovered Puerto Rico, he discovered that people had already discovered it and lived here, but he said he was gonna claim it for his own. That's some gangster stuff right there. I ain't mad at him. I'm gonna roll up on your block and be like, that's my block. See how that work out. I don't know. As long as Jay Prince ain't there, I think I'd be safe. But yeah, so basically it's a celebration of discovery of Puerto Rico, which is interesting because it was 1493. And if anyone's from Virginia or the States, and they teach us in our early history, in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So this was his second time. Gracias. Voy a dejarlo para chilearlo, para enfriarlo. Yo no quiero que me quema mi boca. But it looked pretty though. Pretty dope. All right, back to y'all history lesson, because I've always been a fan of history, and maybe I'll be a teacher when I stop making money on real jobs. Oops, sorry teachers. Sorry, mama, love you. You ain't a teacher no more anyway. Outside of that, yeah, so they taught us back in grade school in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So in 1493, that had to be his second trip. And if you know, trivia question, where did he originally land, Mr. Cristobal Colombo? It's our twin. It's the second Puerto Rico. Think about it. Los Dominicanos, Plátano Power, in Haiti, the island of Hispaniola is where he first settled. There's debates about where he first landed as potentially being somewhere in the Bahamas, but we're gonna talk about where he settled at. So, Dominicanos, Colombianos, break it. Okay, let me stop. And one last thing before we get started with the questions, I need to apologize to you, my past self, and everybody. I disrespected my favorite gangster movie last time. It is paid in full. I don't really know how I forgot it. New Jack City is great, but it's not paid in full. Paid in full is the best, hands down. And plus, Alvo, dude that played Rico, he just got out of jail or what? Well, I don't know when he got out of jail, but I think he just got killed within the last month. That's how you know it's real. And that movie's based on a true story. Go watch it. If you never see it paid in full, you ain't nobody. Questions? Thanksgiving is about to come. So I haven't been home for 6 years since I've been working for Thanksgiving, because we always had deadlines or rollouts like the first week of December. So we had to be on deck, all hands on deck in case anything happened. So this is the first time I'm going back. My grandma's coming to my mama's house to make sure everything tastes like how it's supposed to taste. So with that, favorite plate, easy thing, best plate. So you get your mac and cheese, you get your sweet potatoes with the syrup and the yam, and you let them juice, you put them next to each other. You gotta let them juices touch each other, right? Boom. You leave that third of the plate over there and you don't bother it. And you come over here to this left third, you know, Rock La Familia, the diamonds. What I'm putting on the left? I'm gonna put a little bit of rice, probably with gravy, but probably like the collard greens, right? But you put the collard greens close to the mac and cheese sweet potato combo, because you might want to make a large mix. When the collard greens start to get to the point you might not want them, you start mixing them with the good stuff, and you don't taste the greens. You'll hear all this right now. This ain't even no protein yet. All right, now after that, you gotta get a little sliver of turkey just to say you did it. You know, it's the turkey's day. Let the turkey get its love. But then I'm putting my fried chicken on there. Yeah, son. Might put a little sliver of salmon, because you know grandma gonna hook that up, and you gotta eat the fish with the skin on it, because if you don't, what are you doing? Weirdo. And then the last piece, now that you got this heaping plate that you're not even gonna eat all of it, you gotta put a little roll on the top so you can dip that roll. You see how I'm doing that? You see, this is a natural motion. I didn't even think of this. And you dip that roll in the sweet potato mac and cheese guck sauce. Better than guavoca. Use a hoe, use a hoe. I think that was a Tech 9 song. Alright, what makes you a hoe? How many bodies make you a hoe? Guy, we'll do guy and girl so we don't leave nobody out. I don't really think it's a body thing. The bodies isn't important, because once, if you're a real dude, why are you asking a girl how many bodies she got? I don't think she should really ask you how many bodies you got. But I think the wholeness, the other difficulty is it's hard for a guy to be a hoe. If you're a guy and a hoe, that means women like you, right? So they're still picking you. Whereas if you are a hoe and a woman, you are choosing guys. So the bodies, let's scratch that. Get the bodies out of it. I think really what makes the person a hoe, guy or girl, is the mentality. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Like if you're a dude and you're lying to girls to hook up with them, you're telling them things are gonna be something and they're not, or you a hoe, you a sucker. Because you don't gotta lie to them, you just gotta give it to them true. And they still gonna fall. She like you. As soon as she started talking to you, she like you already. All you can do is mess it up by talking too much. So it's hard to ruin that. She gonna want you whether you tell her the truth. Well, if you tell the truth, she ain't gonna change. She's still, ooh, he's still pretty colors. Everybody want pretty colors. So that makes it a little hard there. But if you're trying to manipulate the girl, if you're trying to lie to her, that to me, if you're trying to get stuff out of her, like, oh, I'm gonna get her to buy something, like that's a hoe to me as a dude. And honestly, that kind of flips right around, right? Like if you, it's a hoe mentality. The thing with a girl can be a hoe without having sex. If you are displaying and portraying yourself in hoe-like matters, like talking about getting guys for money, just stuff like that, manipulating dudes. You're not really a hoe if you're talking to more than one guy while you're single. So we ain't gonna do that. But yeah, really, if you're trying to use dudes as like licks, like all right, I'm gonna talk to him, get him to do this thing, buy me this, blah 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 blah, you a hoe. Or if you're taking all these pictures, acting like a hoe, snappy all your stuff, talking slick, talking down on dudes, whether you smashing them dudes or not, you giving off whole energy. So we gonna call you that. Although we're not gonna call you that, but someone could. And likewise, the dude doing all that little, what do you call them, F-boys, you a hoe. It's easy. You know when you see one. But yeah, you can't get mad at it. Because like, think about it, you can't go off bodies, right? What if from 18 to 28, she had 2 boyfriends every year? She ain't a hoe, but she gonna have 20 bodies, so you can't call her a hoe. But like I said, if she going around moving and acting a certain way, and she embracing all of that, hey, I'm gonna tell you what they call you. Okay, now y'all got me in my Jimothy the Economist bag, right? So let's try to explain this with an example, right? Because if you are changing the federal minimum wage, which I believe is like $7 or $8, but let's just say the current is 10 and they want to change it to 15. That's a 50% increase in the minimum wage, right? So if you are assuming, let's say each day the business makes $1,000, cost of goods sold is 30%. So $300 go away. Now you're at $700. Now you gotta pay your employees. Let's say you got 10 employees, and we're gonna just say you paid them one hour, right? All 10 of them employees were making $10, and they brought in $1,000. Now the government is gonna require me to pay those same 10 employees 50% more, but they are not demanding 50% more production, right? So now you've just taken my whole wage bill and you halved it. You 50%ed it without giving me more production. I'm still making 1,000, but now I'm paying you 15 instead of 10. And let's say I got 10 employees. So what is my option as a business owner? Either I gotta raise the price, inflation, ding, 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 ding. Everybody talking about that. So either I have to raise the price 50% to match the wages going up. I gotta cut employees because now we're gonna go down to 5 employees so I can keep my wage bill the same. Now all the people who was like, yeah, give me $15, your ass ain't working because it costs too much to employ you. Okay, now what's the third? I demand better productivity out of my workers to justify the 50%. And that ain't gonna happen. You lazy, you work minimum wage. That means you didn't do enough to make more than minimum wage. Why are you gonna start working harder just because they're giving you more money? You're still gonna be on your phone texting, not taking my order quick, behind the counter, doing whatever, not being chipper and cheerful, getting a good tip. So really, what is it really doing? You're gonna either push the prices up of things, you ain't gonna work as hard, you might even get lazy. It's a dangerous, slippery slope, but I get where it sounds pretty, it sounds shiny, give me $15, I'll be able to pay everything. But did you think about it like this? If they switch us to $15 an hour, I think that puts everybody at around $35,000 to $40,000 annual income. That also takes you out of the lowest bracket of income taxes. So not everyone anyone working would qualify to have to pay personal income taxes, which then gives back the government even more money. So what are you really doing? They're gonna give you more money so they can now tax you more. And your goods go up. And as the business employer, I might cut 50% of y'all. You better think about what you're asking for. Don't just think it sounds nice and you're gonna do it. Class is over. This is a really hard question because as a kid I spent a lot of time on MTV and VH1 trying to figure out where I'm going. His crib looked like that, The Fabulous Life of Pooh. I'm gonna be both, double down on him. You know, Big Ballin' Shot calling. MTV Cribs was dope. They had way more episodes, 30 minutes. Could watch it all the time. I think my favorite, which is ironic, my favorite MTV Cribs, I think were both Portland trailblazers. Rasheed Wallace and Zach Randolph both had like 2 of my favorite houses. And then there was one dude who I didn't know who he was, but he had a fly house, I can't remember. Usher's house was nice too, and Lil Bow Wow's. But Zach Randolph, Rasheed Wallace had my favorite houses on Cribs. And I don't know if y'all are hip to The Fabulous Life of, but that was a show on VH1 where they used to like pick a topic and then show all the celebrities and like how much they spent on these things. And it had this English dude with this weird voice, and he'd be like, this came in for a whopping $50 million. I'm gonna see if I can find a clip. I used to love that show. It would show you like, yo, that joint was dope. You just gotta check out Fabulous Life of. I might use my jailbroken Fire Stick. What? I might watch that on my devices later and see if they still got it, because I could spend all day watching that Fabulous Life. But yeah, Fabulous Life of, I think wins that one. I'd rather watch that show, especially now. It's an hour. You can put it on in the background, but you're still soaking up game on how much all these things cost. And shoot your ambitions for the stars. So if you fall, you land on a cloud. Spark your lighters, wave them around. If you don't know by now, I'm talking about Chi-Town. Who's that? That's Kanye. Okay, let's try to do this in like an easy analogy or a sentence. Liberals. They're the mom of the family. They care about the well-being, social services, a good basic quality of life, and they want the government to essentially support that quality of life and set a bare minimum that things can't be below. The basic standard of human life, essentially. That's what I say what the liberals shoot for, right? Use the government to stabilize industries and give people a high bare minimum of lifestyle and provide great social services, and doing this by taxing the taxpayers, because the only way a government makes money is taxing taxpayers. Otherwise they don't have income. Keep that in mind. As somebody who works in taxes, I know where to get their money at. Okay, so that's the mom. The mom likes things to be nice. She likes you to feel good. She wants you to feel equal. She wants you to have all the opportunity in the world and be grander. You know, she spend her money. It's expensive political ideology because it costs money to do all those things. And then we got the conservatives. That's daddy. That's dad cheap. Sitting in the back like, I don't know, we should pay for that. I don't know. Hey, baby. We got bills coming up. Stop spending all that money. They tight in the pockets. But outside of that, they essentially, let's translate it to almost the direct opposites, right? They believe in leave the government out of what I got going on in my private life and let me keep my money and let me decide how I want to use it. In terms of if I want to give it back or et cetera, whatever I want to do with my money. They want the government to not be involved, at least federal government. They're cool enough with state, local government because in theory, you're closer to the people, you're closer to the decisions and the needs, the wants and the needs, some of the people in your local area. So they figure, hey, why are we taking advice from the big wigs? Why are we taking advice from the CEOs when the people and the workers are all down here? Why don't we ask the people and the workers what they want and what they need instead of the CEOs who are far removed and don't know? Kind of a way to put that. Yeah, the conservative. It's in the name. They don't want the government in their business. They want to keep their money. They want to be able to acquire wealth. They don't want to have to keep paying taxes to the government that they feel like is wasting their tax money and using it, kind of in programs that they don't support. Decent point, but that's the main difference there. I think we're gonna stick with that, and that's gonna be it. I'm gonna smash this mocha out, and I'll see y'all next week. In Virginia, man's going home for the thanks of the giving.